We're live right now.
We are live. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. We
No, you're
are
good.
live. But I mean there's nobody in here though. So I'm gonna get the link.
Right.
I'll get the link
No.
posted. But yeah, this will be on YouTube because this will just
Yeah.
post straight to YouTube once we're done. So
Yeah, but I have almost all like I have the names of the senders and receivers on some of these things, and then I got some interesting things. One funny thing that I was thinking about when I was excited a couple weeks ago. Here, let me send this out. Um, Send it out to the hockey league.
there you go. There you go. Shout out to the hockey league. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can probably skip ahead like 5-10 minutes before we
Yeah.
dive in. So, but yeah, we got to get this out.
Yeah, but man, I'll when the time comes, I have this little nugget that I ran with, and I went through. I mean, probably like 150 emails pertaining to this, and then I thought I was onto something, so I hammered it hard, and then I was like, so I'll get into it, and it ended up being nothing. But there's a little bit of something there that we can get into. So
Okay. Well, I'm excited. You saying that is just funny because the amount of things that I thought I was onto something, and then as you dive
yeah,
deeper, you realize that you're not. So yeah, I've been
yeah.
there a million times. All right, I think I got it sent out to people, everyone that would be interested in joining. We'll give it a couple minutes before we dive in. I took everything tonight a little bit of a different direction where I'm trying to
Okay,
focus on things that most people aren't when it comes to the files, like weird things going on,
right.
influence, people he was talking to. So I have some interesting conversations, some funny conversations that we can pull up, and then I've got a couple interesting data points. So I've got part 2 of my sheet I've been working on, and there might be a Detroit Lions reference somewhere in here.
So did you see the that Leo's Coney Island was called out?
In Detroit, like that,
It
Leo's?
No, it's like Leo's in Brighton or something.
No way. I did not see this.
Yeah, if you look up Leo's Coney Island, they meet up at a Leo's. So that was just a little fun. I saw that on TikTok, but I was like, that's kind of a funny one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, if you guys are joining, let us know who's here in the chat. We want to know who's watching in the chat if you can. That's wild though.
Yeah,
The
no, it was.
Brighton.
I told my buddies that, and Payne's like, I'm surprised they didn't go to the Grand Blanc one because that's got the best food. But yes, again, for people just joining, I went down the food rabbit hole, and the uh the emails I found are very, if you know the food references, they're troubling for sure. Um One keyword that if we want to pull it up in are you going to pull up the Epstein files? Can you do Are you going to do that or
Yes, and
no?
actually,
You
I
don't
want to
have
show
to.
you a really cool tool while we're looking at the files. But you want me to pull up and do a keyword search before we fully dive in here?
Sure. This is what I cuz it's so like you can look up like just uh Bill Gates and Donald Trump, and you can look up all those names. Um but one word that kind of takes you right to like weirdness is the word yummy. If you look up yummy, I found a lot of yummies.
Oh boy, I don't even want to see this. Yeah,
Yeah.
343 results. Yummy.
Yeah, so
Thank
I
you
went
so
through
much for
all.
the carrot cake. It's super
Yeah, no,
yummy.
no, no, you're spoiling all mine. Don't. We'll
All
go
right,
into them.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I have carrot
Well,
cake on here.
yeah, boy. All right. Um, All right, we'll give it like 2 more minutes, and then we'll get you know what? 3 more minutes. We will get officially started at 8:45. Guys, if anybody's in here, please let us know in the chat.
Do you
We
want
would love to hear who's around.
to pass the time? Max Crosby on I think call sheet is favored to go to the Broncos. That's what people are betting on. I hope.
Do Do you want to know where I think he ends up?
Go ahead.
Chicago, and I'm gonna
No.
hate it.
No. There see I how why would a guy like that go to Chicago?
Because he's got a chance to win, and Chicago needs an edge rusher, and they probably have more in their stash that they could trade for a Max Crosby, and they have a
Yeah.
GM that's willing to take swings like that.
Okay. Fair.
I hate it.
I hate it too. I would hate. I mean, that would turn me off. Like Raiders for Max Crosby is the most neutral, honestly preferable team. If he had to play for anyone else, but yeah, put him on the Raiders. But with Max Crosby is like an official ambassador for Eastern Michigan football, like coaching. Like he's a coach for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like okay. This is kind of my like out in the wind perfect scenario. What I think could happen is Eastern Michigan / game above has deep pockets, and I coming from an Eastern guy, I know that. Um, they got a lot of money to spend. I could see, which probably won't be legal, a Max Crosby Lions game above / Eastern Michigan agreement. So wasn't it like Kawhi who was they
Yeah.
gave
Some
him like the
salary
free
cap
farm?
circumvention.
Something like that where I could see game above being like, hey, if we can get you in Detroit working with Eastern Michigan, we can pay X amount. I mean, they gave our golf team like $20 million.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
I'm
a non-profit.
following.
Like you not making a profit.
I'm following what you're saying.
So
We
I
might have to look into the legality of this. I know it's not legal, but people in the
that's
NBA
what I'm
have done it.
saying.
Steve
There,
Ballmer has done it.
I could see that they could be like, "Hey, Will, if I was a Soprano type guy, I could be like, "Hey, come to Detroit. We're gonna put 10 million into Eastern Michigan football defense. We're gonna pay like there might be something that shifty they could pull off that I'm hoping could happen. So,
I would love it. Yeah,
oh
I
my gosh,
am a grumpy fan where I'm at the point of I won't believe the Lions make any big splash move until I see it. Like I have just
yeah,
hit that point of fandom. So I'm in. I'm
yeah,
in on it.
no, it sucks. I, do you think the Verlander pickup was kind of maybe a Trojan horse of Detroit teams kind of like, all right, let's really go for something when we have the opportunity to go for something.
I
You
hope.
know,
But
it,
I actually
even though
would
it's a 1 year
argue,
deal.
yeah, I would actually argue the Valdez deal is more of that. I mean, they're paying him 30 some mil a year for 3 years. Like that's the big signing. Obviously Verlander gets all the headlines, but
Yeah,
yes, I will say yes. What the Tigers have done in the last couple weeks, maybe it's a turn of the tides, but
a spearhead
yeah,
of
or
Detroit.
like you
Yeah,
said, a little Trojan horse. So, all right,
yeah,
we have some people in here. I think if you guys are in here, please make yourselves known. You can talk to us while we're doing this. We are gonna officially get started. This is the BBL investigation series into the Epstein
yep.
Files. We did it a couple weeks ago, and it was fun. I mean, it wasn't fun what we were covering, but it was,
No,
I think we got some important stuff out there. Some people had
And
requested a follow-up.
yeah, we got the follow up. But the news we broke, bigger news streams picked up what we were talking about. The grape soda,
Yeah.
they picked up on it. What was it? There was another thing that they ran with.
The who Harry Fish was, and yeah, talking about
Yeah,
pizza,
yeah,
grape
yeah,
soda. It's listen, I'm not going to say BBL broke the news. These files are available to everybody. Everyone was eventually going to find
yeah.
them, but we did
We
have
got the
it first. And
timestamps.
then a week later, yeah, I saw Tucker Carlson and a couple other major channels covering the exact same files that we broke on the live. So we have some more to get into tonight. Blaze has his notes. I have my notes. I have some things to show you guys. But let's quickly, I want to kind of lay out what has happened since the last time that we recorded.
Yeah, some big
So
things actually. Some real life consequences have arisen since we last covered.
that's
Are you
true.
aware of that?
And
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, just as far in not like criminal consequences, but
No.
people having to
Yeah.
step down from their positions
There's
and their
been
jobs.
criminal. A couple countries have. A couple European countries have like
Yes, opened
are
investigations.
yeah, they're taking action. Yeah.
Yes. So, which is great. We
It,
love to see it. I would
the
love for our government to do that and our legal system to do that, but they're not. And really the big news, I just want to make this super clear for everybody that's listening. And Blaze, you probably already know this, but just in case you don't. We know there are at least over 6 million files in the Epstein
yeah.
files that the government has. They have only released less than 3.5 million of those documents. And if you
Yeah.
notice as you go through the documents, it's a lot of communications, whether it's text, whether it's emails, just back and forth communication, not a crazy amount of incriminating things. The one thing that you don't see in the files, which I would guess is in the other 3 million that they're not showing us, is the actual investigative material. So the witness interviews, the
Yeah.
memos, internal memos, the evidence that we have on a specific investigation, and why are we not pressing charges against these individuals?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that's hidden. And what ticks me off, and what should tick everybody else off, is that Pam Bondi, the attorney general, went in front of Congress, didn't answer any questions. As a matter of fact, like
Yeah.
you've probably seen it. It's like a meme now. One of her answers to the question was, "Well, have you seen the Dow? The Dow's at 50,000. That's what we should be talking about."
Yeah.
That was a joke. And then afterwards, Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice released a statement saying, "We have released all of the Epstein files. We will not be making any more charges, and we are considering this matter closed." One
Yeah.
problem
Could be a
with
red
that.
herring.
Well, one problem with that, they haven't released all the files. There's still 3
Right.
million that haven't been released, and I don't think we're ever going to see it. So,
Well, my thinking is like I'm sure what they have chosen not to release is probably pretty like set in stone, clear cut, no bueno for some people. And what's going to happen is some, not Joe Schmo, but some guy who thinks he might be, maybe they're not on to me, and they're like, oh shoot, then they flee to Venezuela where they're not going to find them. So that's probably what they're thinking. I don't
maybe.
know. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see as we get into this. I have some theories. We're gonna talk about some more theories on this.
Yeah.
On this one, we kind of just stuck to the files last week. So, no, I mean you could be right. I think that there's incriminating things in there for people on both sides of the aisle, and there's too many powerful people that actually run what's going on in the government, and that's why they're never going to see the light of day. But
Yeah.
that's my theory. It doesn't mean that's what's going on, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, really quick. I just want to highlight something really quick and a shout out to some people that I don't know, but I want to show, if you guys are listening to this, I want to show you guys this. And what up, Cam? Cam is in the chat.
Damn.
He says we own Venezuela. We technically do right now. So
Sorry, you're right.
we might have to get Cam up in here. I'll see about getting him an invite. I don't know where he's at or what he's doing. But okay, what I want to show you, and Blaze, you'll be very interested in this. somebody created, and I got this from Ian Carroll's Twitter page. He put it out. He might be one of the people behind it. I don't know who's behind it, but somebody created an AI bot specifically for the Epstein files. So it has all of the Epstein files loaded into this. You can ask it to run a search, and it'll give you detailed information about the files. It'll actually reference what you're looking for. It's a really, really cool tool. And so, like, for example, if I say, tell me about Bill Clinton in the files, this is probably going to take a long time because he's in there so much, but it'll actually give you a summary of everywhere that he shows up, where he shows up,
Right.
references to him showing up, and summarize like his connections to Epstein. So it is app.theweb.io. So if anyone's ever interested in doing your own research, this is a really cool AI bot you can use.
How did he get that domain?
Pretty good domain. A great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great question. So, and yeah, as you guys can see, it's taking a very long time, so we don't have to go all the way through this. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Almost 3,300 mentions, flight records and travel, Africa trips, celebrity connections, denials, contradictions, timing of the relationship. Like it summarizes everything for you. It's a really cool tool. So I just had to shout that out because I used that a little bit for our research here.
Yeah.
But
Adam, I'm going to take a quick timeout. My dryer's going crazy. I just put a blanket in. I'm going to go stop it.
All right,
and then
you go fix that, and I'm going to start pulling some files up here. All right, and if you guys are still listening, please let me know who's in here. I want to know who is in here, who we're talking to. So, but we're going to start going through this. I've got some files to show you guys this week. And let's start out. This is BBL Sports Podcast. You guys know we talk a lot about sports, and especially the Detroit Lions. So I just got to show you guys. This is
the dryer.
I cannot. No,
okay.
I think we're good. Right. So, all right, Blaze. This is where we're kicking off the files tonight. Being that we're BBL Sports, I had to bring this up. This is, I thought this was an interesting text message that Jeffrey Epstein sent to Steve Bannon in 2018. It says, the best college football players, stars in their own town, strut around and then get on the professional field for the first time and take a hit by a Detroit Lion lineman and their life changed forever. NFL, smiley face.
Doesn't get more damning than that.
The Detroit Lions are in the Epstein files. I just want to throw that out there.
But in good light,
Oh, and I just realized I wasn't sharing the screen with the text, but it's right here.
And I am more than confident that maybe 10% of the non-released Epstein files are about Aaron Rodgers.
You might be on. Okay, you might be onto something there.
We can't say no. We cannot rule it out.
I love that. Okay. We're going to go through a couple just interesting emails that I found, and then I'm going to throw it over to you. I know you got your notes and things that you want to take us through. So let's just look at a couple weird things here. So listen, I don't know if there's anything to this email, but I thought this one was very weird. Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class. Anyone? Yeah. He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. And I imagine you said you have a lot of food references. So jerky.
Yeah, no jerky references, but
okay. Well, jerky shows up a ton in the files, and it's very, very weird. Sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak. He has time at 3 p.m. tomorrow, if this is okay with you. They might actually just be talking about jerky here. I just thought it was really weird. The restaurant's called Cannibals and Cooks, and they're talking a lot about beef jerky and steak. I thought that was a little odd. I wanted to show that. Here's another one that I wanted to show. This one I find extra frustrating, a bit offensive as a Christian man. And Blaze, I know you're a Christian as well. Jeffrey Epstein was not a Christian. Just throwing that out there for the background here. Hi, Rich.
We won't say what he was, but
yeah. we're not gonna say, but
We're not at liberty.
Jeffrey is asking if you can FedEx the painting he had made of the massacre of the innocents to the ranch, referring to the Santa Fe ranch that Jeffrey Epstein owned. It's the large 9x9 canvas that we had rolled out for him to see in the entryway where they are killing babies. He wants to use it on the ranch and is hoping you could FedEx it to arrive by Wednesday. So let's go a little bit deeper into this. Blaze, are you familiar with the massacre of the innocents?
I am not.
Okay, so I'm sure you know the story. You probably just don't know it's referred to as the massacre of the innocents. But when Jesus was born, the Magi go back and they
Oh,
tell
yes.
King
Yep.
Herod that he's the chosen one. You know how the story goes, and then King
Yes.
Herod orders every baby boy in the city to be murdered. The massacre of the innocents is what that's referring to, and it's a famous painting of babies being killed in the massacre of the innocents. So I, it's just a weird painting to
Yep.
want in the entryway of your home as it's depicting babies being killed. But I also find it very weird given just the story and how it pertains to Jesus and why he would want that hanging in his entryway.
I mean, he had that Bill Clinton address. It's all his paintings are basically taunting paintings. You
Exactly.
know. Yeah. There was the one of Bush with the like
Paper
basically being a little
airplanes.
kid with with the
Yeah.
towers knocked over. Yeah, they're all taunting paintings. So that's well, sorry to kind of take it off track. Do you know the Islamic cube that they idolize that has their something inside it's a giant box that they all walk around?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that he bought from the Iranian or Iraq or one of those countries' government the cloak that covers this massive box. That's probably 50 foot by 50 foot by it's a square. And he bought it to be turned into rugs in his house. So, you know, he obviously makes a mockery of other religions, and that's a big one.
Interesting. I did not
Because
see
that
that.
is
That
their
is,
the
yeah,
from what I've heard is that is the equivalent of their like shroud of Turin, which is the cloth that Jesus was wrapped in when he was crucified and placed in the tomb. To them, that is the same equivalent, and the cloak covered the box, and that's what he used to make carpets. So obviously, you know,
very interesting.
the things that he used as decor are obviously meant to be a mockery to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty evident. I agree with
Yeah.
that. So I did not know that story. That is very interesting. And I gotta look a little bit more into that. So
Yeah.
all right. Here's one more I want to show. I've got I think two more that I want to show, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you. So um okay. So this is an email from Jeffrey Epstein to we don't know who. Redacted said that she felt God's presence next to her when she was in bed. She knows that Jesus watches over her and helped save her life. Whoops. We talked about
Whoops.
the
Oh,
whoops
another
reference.
whoops. Yeah.
Um, that person responds, "You should dress up as him when you see her." To then Jeffrey Epstein responding, "Of course." The "Oh Jesus, I'm coming" trick. I don't I don't know. I don't like that. I don't know what he
Yeah.
means by that. So, um, yeah. All right. Let's go to let's go to dude, I don't know what this is. And we're gonna be crossing over into the world of golf. I don't think Tiger Woods actually sent this message. I hope not. But in 2010, somebody sent Jeffrey Epstein a text message or an email that
What?
says, it's important to have a woman who helps at home. It's important to have a woman who cooks from time to time, who keeps the house clean, who has a job, who likes you. Kind of lists these 9 important women to have.
Yeah.
And then 10, it's very, very important that these 9 women do not know each other. Sincerely, Tiger Woods. I hope, I really hope that this was not Tiger Woods that sent this to Jeffrey Epstein in 2010. I don't think it is, but it is
I
wild.
obviously I like Tiger. I would say the only reason that it's probably definitely not Tiger Woods is that they would at least they wouldn't dox the email and then not dox Tiger Woods because like it would
That's what I'm
say
thinking too.
yeah. So it's probably like they probably call him. It's probably like no offense, probably a black guy or someone who's good at golf, and they probably just call him Tiger Woods or something like that.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so because that would break my
I
heart
mean,
if Tiger Woods is sending those messages to Jeffrey Epstein in
yeah.
2010.
It's
So
funny because I dip into the golf world. That we'll get into. That it's nothing crazy. It's nothing incriminating. It's just something interesting I found. So we'll get into it
okay,
later.
all right. Well, here's the last thing that I want to show the listeners and you, Blaze, and it is, in my opinion, a very interesting chart. So what you see on your screen here is a chart, and the green bars are reflective of the amount of files from a given year. Okay. So it makes sense, right? That back in the mid 90s, they don't have nearly as many files as they do in like 2010 to
Right.
2020, right? Because the
Yep.
digital, like it makes sense that with time, you would continue to get more files from each year as more and more technology is being used to communicate.
I already know where you're going.
This red bar right here is the amount of files in totality that we have from 1999 through the end of 2001. And all I'm going to say is it doesn't fit. That's
Yep.
very odd, isn't it? That there's a specific time period where there are little to no
Yeah.
files available. But we
I know
see
where
this
you're
pretty
going.
consistent ramp up year over year. So listen, I'm
Yeah.
not going to make any judgments. I'm not going to say anything crazy, but just do with that information what you will. I find that
Something big
very odd.
happened in the that towards the end of that time period.
Yeah,
We on the same
something big
page?
in the world certainly happened. There's a lot of
Yeah.
theories and conspiracies around it. I just find it very odd. And when you see it in this visual, you can see like, whoa, that's weird. That doesn't make sense. So,
Yep.
so yeah, I just wanted to share that. That kind of kicks us off. Blaze, I know you have been doing a bunch of work. You have a ton of notes, so I'll let you take
Yeah.
over for a second here and enlighten us on some things.
So I have a couple avenues we can go down. I'm going to start with the food because that's kind of what I was focusing on, and it's nothing crazy. It's I'm curious of what your thoughts are. One thing I will say, and it's a shot at myself. There's a lot of emails from jeevacation@gmail.com. As a dyslexic man, I thought it was Jeffrey Epstein evacuation, and I thought that it was an email to break him out of jail. So I went down this whole probably for a full day of I thought it was evacuation. It's vacation. So that's just something I wanted to bring up. But everything else I'm going to talk about doesn't relate to that. So
Okay.
yeah, I just was like I caught myself. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me, dude? Um,
That's
I
awesome.
yeah, I was like, this is. I thought I like uncovered his
You broke it
escape.
open, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just vacation. So like I said, I went into the food thing, and the food thing is kind of really where it gets dark. So I've kind of moved off of it because I don't want to talk too much about it. Because we're trying to keep it lighthearted and more on the just mysteries of things. But here are some emails I found. Like I said earlier, the word yummy is a really, really interesting word to look up because they just don't make sense. Um, so here's one from Leslie Groff to Epstein. Thank you for the pizza today. Yummy, yummy. Um, then Diane replies with pizza time. Kids are hungry. Leslie replies with yum. That looks good. The boys are really cute too. So again, it gets dark, and I don't want to go too much down it. Some interesting words I found was carrot cake. Um, I'm curious what carrot cake means. Uh, Doc's name said, "Thank you so much for the carrot cake. It's super yummy." And then Catherine Kucka replies, "Let's do yummy tomato soup," which is what is tomato soup? What is carrot cake? Um, I have a lot. So I'm just going to read a couple of just the
Yeah, just
ones
keep them
that
running.
I thought.
Keep running a couple here.
This is from Aaron Coe to Epstein. I will make pizza mold after and maybe a couple hours for the casting, but spelled K capital ASSTING. So for the people who know what pizza means, I will make the pizza mold after maybe a couple hours for the casting. So it's just casting the mold, spells it with ASS. That one's not really great. This one's from Yadin Kudai. Subject: slicing a pizza. All they say is hilarious. That's also a pretty not good one. Um, and then this will be the last one I'll talk about food because really, when I went down the food rabbit hole, I was kind of trying to think about what we always said we're going to go into food. It's just too
It's
inappropriate
dark.
for us to talk about. Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm just gonna end it there because I found some bad
Ah.
ones. Um,
Well,
no,
okay.
this will be the last one I'll say. This was the last one I say, which really, really confused me. This is a completely doxed email. But all it says is call Yankee Paintball, confirm slash ask about pizza slash ammo. I thought that one was a weird one.
That is odd.
So
So, okay, I want to say something really quick because I don't know who's in here, who's listening. Shout out to Virgos. Virgos is in here, and really quick, I just want to throw this. He has a theory about what carrot cake could mean.
okay, let's hear it. I would love to hear it because I have no idea.
I just threw it on the screen, but he thinks it means red-haired individuals, redheads. So,
Okay, that could be
which is
that's
interesting, and yeah,
very
this is a
valid.
deep, dark conversation. But the thing that's so
Yeah,
crazy about these food references to me is 10 plus years ago, WikiLeaks drops the Podesta emails and some of the Clinton emails, and that kind of launches Pizzagate, this conspiracy. And the story with Pizzagate is so crazy because it just got blown off as this insane conspiracy from people who have no idea what they're talking about. They're idiots.
right.
And no, we just really like pizza. Like all of these politicians just really like pizza. Well, then the Epstein files come out and you just read us some things that in your opinion aren't even that bad because you didn't want to read the worst. And it
Yeah,
certainly doesn't sound like they're talking about pizza or they're
right,
talking about cake or they're talking about drinking a Fega grape soda with a
right.
slice of cheese pizza for lunch that day. And it's the most exciting thing that they have going on that day. It's just kind of crazy how 10 years later, if you were a Pizzagate person and believed that that was really going on, there's a little
Yeah,
bit of vindication here, vindication with the Epstein files. There are so many super odd food references all throughout
right.
these.
So, Comet Pizza. Have you dived into the Comet Pizza?
Oh yeah,
Do you see
this is where Pizzagate starts. Yes,
starts? Right. Did you see the thing about the owner's name?
yes, and some of
Okay.
his ties.
Well, no. So the owner's name, I think he's a Rothschild or someone like that, right?
That's and I can't prove this. I've
No, we
just
can't.
read it. Yeah, I've just read it.
So,
So I actually, but
yes.
yes, I know what you're getting
So
at here.
something I read is if you his name translated in some language, either it's like Israeli or something like that, his name and all you have to do is you change you add a colon and then change an A to an E or something. His name translates to "I love the children" in another language. If you look it up, I just that's just something I read.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is, but it was I saw it that that's what it translates to, which I Like, who knows?
Well, listen, when what killed the Pizzagate theory, and I would implore, if you're listening right now, look it up, read the files, look at the news reports. A deranged conspiracy theorist, and maybe I don't need to put quotes there, but a deranged conspiracy theorist walks into Comet Pizza and shoots the place up. And this is how the story goes, right? Walks in, shoots the place up, doesn't hit anybody, doesn't kill anybody, injure anybody. And then afterwards gets interviewed and said, yeah, I believed in Pizzagate. I looked around and there's nothing here. Like, it was all a lie.
Mm.
And then that's kind of what puts the end to Pizzagate.
Yeah.
And I just think it's an interesting story. You should look into that,
Yeah.
and who that guy
Yeah.
was and why he went in there and the way that he acted that out. I just think that's it's interesting. So look it up.
Yeah.
But the food references, to your point,
Yeah.
very odd. A lot of
The food
very, very odd.
references for BBL are too dark. I think I that's the consensus I've come to. But I do have some fun, more interesting things that we can maybe dissect.
Okay, let's do
Um,
it.
this is an email to the JEE vacation email I was talking about earlier. The subject is, "Were you scared?" And all the email is just, "They are just Legos." Isn't that a weird one? Were you
Very
scared?
weird.
They are just Legos.
Very
And
weird. And we
I
don't know who that came from.
no. And I'm just
Redacted, of
curious of
course.
like, because I looked up scared and Legos, and that's Legos as the only time Legos is brought up. But it just seems sinister. Of, were you scared? They are just Legos. And maybe
Yes.
people in the comments want to draw assumptions. I really, truthfully, have no realistic thing to draw or to attach Legos to. But
Or why you would be
it
scared of them.
right. And then go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, okay, I just want to take you through my mindset and as I go through
Yeah.
these files and kind of my process, right? And it's how I've landed where I have on the food stuff, and it's how I'm landing on, this Lego thing. Like, my first instinct is I try to think, what is a real world explanation for this? Right? Like,
Right.
what's a real world, real scenario where they could actually be having this conversation? And when the conspiracy theory makes way more sense than the real scenario, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to ignore. And that's the thing, is like the way that they're talking about food, like, is that an
You
is
have
it a
to assume the
normal?
worst now in these.
Yeah, because it's you
Yeah.
try to think, is it possible that they're really that like, Jeffrey Epstein has this special relationship with his urologist,
Yeah.
and they love pizza and grape soda, and it's like an inside thing. And when Jeffrey Epstein tells his urologist that he's going to be taking his Viagra, and then the urologist responds and says, "Well, wash your hands and let's go get pizza and grape soda." Like, what's a real world scenario where that is a normal
Right.
response?
Right.
And
Even
that's
to
what's so
just your buddy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's so crazy
Yeah.
about this.
So I'll let you, because I'm saving one for kind of the end that really, I think I think there's something here, and I went down the rabbit hole and kind of got stuck, but I think there's something there. But there's one, if you want to pull up the files and look up this name.
Yep.
This is where kind of things start to get more realistic of actual crimes being committed. Mr. Brettler, Brettler.
Brettler, like that?
Yes. You might have to put.
Brettler.
Oh, shit. There's 343 results.
Nope. There's only
How many
three.
results are there?
Three.
Okay. Go to, what's the first one say? Or
Dear
delete.
Mr.
Okay, click the
Brettler.
first one. I think it's that
Okay.
one.
All right.
Yeah.
You want me to read it? Oh, wow. I have not seen this. What a
Yeah, go ahead and
find.
read
Okay.
it.
Okay. We'll go through this and stop me. Stop me when you wanna talk here. But
Yeah.
okay, so this looks like it's an
Yeah.
email
So
and
this
it's
is when I looked
titled.
up scared. I looked up scared, and this. Sorry. All I was
No,
saying
you're
is
good.
I looked up scared, and this is one of the emails I found.
Okay. So this is titled
Go
Deleting
ahead.
Evidence. Don't know who sent it. Somebody with an S, I'm gonna think. Don't know who sent it. Dear Mr. Bretler, this is really becoming serious. All my emails are being deleted in my accounts. All my redacted have been deleted. That's all my correspondence with Boyce, all my email correspondence with Lucia Osborne, the journalist that was involved with redacted death, have also been deleted. She is working with them and incredibly dangerous. Lucia Osborne was at Buckingham Palace to meet our Queen Camilla at the event the day this one lady made a huge scene with our late Majesty's lady in waiting for being racist. Redacted was murdered. I don't know what to do and I have no help and I'm scared. Can you please help me or at least point to someone that can help me? Because the seriousness of this, I believe I and my unborn child in danger and I don't know where to get help. I'm scared. Please help. Kind regards, redacted. Okay, we got to do a little bit of a dive.
Right.
Who is Lucia Osborne? Who died?
Right.
This is clearly
So
over in Britain. Maybe you have
what's
some
funny,
context here.
I have none. But what I think is funny is that they are so scared about it, and then they basically admit to exactly the crime that they're scared of with names. So it's like, what were you deleting? Why would you not like make this a phone call or something? You're gonna just email, basically incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this was one that really was interesting to me because I just stumbled upon this when I looked up scared. And I mean, clearly, and it's this weird, you're who is Queen Camila? I don't know if that's an actual queen in our late majesty, but it's obviously a pretty high profile murder. And then you talk about Prince Edward's standing that he killed that girl. Is
Yeah.
this what that's tied to, or is there another murder that there's something else there?
Yeah, no, this is really interesting, and I think the way that that email reads, you're probably looking at this is over in Britain. By the way, this Lucia
Yeah.
Osborne looks to be a British writer who lives in London and writes books over in London. So
Right.
this clearly
Okay.
has to do with like the royal family and something over in Britain. So that's a very interesting find.
Yeah. It sounds like a game of Clue almost of how they portray this murder of like it's like sounds like a book being written of like, oh,
Yeah.
the royals and the murder and all this stuff, but it's real life.
Yeah. That is interesting. Good find. I did not see that. And the subject being deleting
Yeah.
evidence. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Right. And it's like, I again, my thinking is, and then we talked about this last time, that these people, their their wording on things, they're not super secretive in what they're doing.
No.
Um, and obviously, like you can see now that there's people constantly in panic on things, and I think a lot of Epstein's emails to people are basically tauntings, like the well, this was to Jeffrey, but were you scared? They're just like, I think he reads these emails and he's just like letting these people know, I've got you, you
Yeah.
know? And they live in like a constant state of paranoia where they're just massively like, it's just funny if like they're so scared, but then you just say, hell, I'm so scared. Remember when we murdered this person, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, how scared are like, they must have thought they were immune emailing Jeffrey because if I'm guilty, he's the most guilty. But I think they were just like playing right into his trap. He's like, "Oh, I got you."
So that's interesting, and that's actually would be, if you're cool, a great segue into some of the other things that I want to show here. Which we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we did this, which is why was Jeffrey Epstein so powerful? And I think a lot of people, when you look at the Epstein case, you just focus on the island and the potential blackmail operation and everything that was going on. we talked a little bit about his dealings with financials and moving money offshore and being this great money launderer. And that's how he got a lot of business and a
Hold
lot of
on.
his money. But
Time out. Unless you want to keep talking, I got to turn my dryer off.
okay, I'll keep talking while you turn the dryer off. So, okay, so where I was at though is how did Jeffrey Epstein have so much power? And I want to show you guys a couple of things that I found that I think shows the type of power that he had. He wasn't just this guy that was blackmailing a couple politicians. He had his hands in everything that was going on around the world politics, wars, whether they be military wars, trade wars. Like he had his finger on everything that was going on around the world. And it's pretty wild to see. And then that begs the question, why? How? Who is he working with? Where was he getting his money? I just refuse to believe that this guy who made some money by
Right.
laundering other people's money became the most powerful guy in the world. I
Yeah.
refuse to believe that. There's got to be another explanation. But
I
let
think
me
it's
pull up.
becoming more evident that he's the basically a not a pawn, but he is the face, and he's just kind of like he's doing all the dirty work, but there's other people who are like, yeah, we'll set you up, we'll get everything, CIA, whatever, other foreign intelligence who are like, he is the again, I'll say it like a Trojan horse of like, all right, get him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and he was clearly,
Yeah.
and
He's not
I
that smart.
like what you're getting at here, because I think a lot of people, if you look at this, call it like a pyramid of evil, right? I think people think Jeffrey Epstein's on top of that and he was the
Yeah.
ringleader. And I think that is incorrect.
I think
I don't know
he's
that.
the
If you disagree,
top.
that's fine.
So
He
there's a
definitely
pyramid,
answered.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
He
so there's the
definitely answered
pyramid,
to some people.
and then there's Jeffrey Epstein stops here, and then there's the top of the pyramid. There's a couple people, and
Yes.
Jeffrey's the first one at the very. He's that guy. Everyone's out. There's a couple people up here. He's here. Then there's everything underneath beneath him, and he's just the puppet basically.
And he did a lot of absolutely atrocious
Yeah,
things, but I think he was, yeah, I think
I think
he
he was just the
answered
guy willing to do it.
to
He's
people.
like,
Yeah.
sure, I'll do it. He does had and yeah, go ahead. There, I can go down another hole.
No, all good. Okay, so we're about to dive into a series of conversations between Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon. If you don't know who Steve Bannon is, he is a very outspoken Trump supporter, Republican kind of political strategist. He actually was Trump's chief political strategist in Trump's first term. Trump
Yep.
ended up getting rid of him about a year and a half, 2 years down the line. But he worked in the first Trump White House, and he is a very outspoken Trump supporter. So we won't spend a ton of time going through everything here, but I do just want to say I went through enough conversations where I can safely say Steve Bannon was leaking U.S. intelligence on the daily to Jeffrey Epstein, was taking advice from Jeffrey Epstein, then using his political influence and power to make what Jeffrey Epstein wanted to happen. And he's talking a lot of shit about Trump in these text messages the same day he's going on CNN and Fox News praising Trump.
Right.
And it's very, very, very odd. So what I want to call out here, this is some text conversation. They're talking about, Steve Bannon wants Epstein's plane. They're talking about times, but what's very interesting to me, I want to call this out, guys. This is in 2019. This is months before Jeffrey Epstein died. So he's already had multiple investigations into the sex trafficking, the child sex trafficking. And Steve Bannon is still talking to him on the daily, but not just Steve Bannon. Let's scroll down here and take a look at what Jeffrey Epstein was doing just months before he died. Okay. He said, at the pyramid with the entire government, what are your plans? Steve Bannon says Macron government. We're talking about the French government right now. Okay. Macron government. Yup. Ministers of the elite. And then there's a picture of Jeffrey
At the Louvre.
Epstein. Yes,
I've seen
at the
this
Louvre
picture, yeah.
with, I'm guessing, a member of the French government. So just us two, entire place, French power. Steve Bannon says power move. So this is an example. This is 2019. There have been multiple investigations. He's a convicted criminal for child sex trafficking at this point in time. And I know the charge was like soliciting a minor or something like that.
Right.
But he's a convicted. People know about Jeffrey Epstein at this point in time. He's months away from being arrested and ultimately dying. And he's meeting with the entire French government. Why?
Right.
What could possibly be the reason for that? So I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. This is another text conversation about a week later with Steve Bannon. Okay. I mean, I'll scroll through these. You can see a lot of this stuff's really boring, but you can see they were texting all day, every day. Like they're texting more than Blaze, you and I probably text our wives. Like it's crazy. All
That's
day,
wild.
every day.
Yeah.
They're texting. All right. SDNY.
There's a Vanderbilt right there. Scroll up. There's a Vanderbilt on the left.
Anderson Cooper.
Yep. Last
Yeah,
Vanderbilt
so
here.
And there's Steve Bannon on Anderson Cooper. So all right, let's keep coming down here. There's some interesting stuff. Okay. Turning him to your China side could be easier than one thinks. So who are they talking about here? Then the Chiron, Anderson was respectful. Turning him to your China side could be easier than one thinks. They need an enemy. China fits the bill. Yes, they can to me about China after seeing the Rome speeches. They need the new eyeballs, big targets. Russia not useful. Trump dead for a while, healthcare over. China perfect pinata. Yes, yes, yes. India's little reported satellite killer changes cyber game. One belt, one road. Needs secure communication. I think you might want to start a new group of hackers. Currently, there are the white hats and the black hats. I like the idea of you creating the red, white, and blue hats. If you really think China is a threat, turn the American teen hackers loose. Explain that this country is effing with your future, i.e. China. In a few years, they would have trouble making a pair of sneakers with the right amount of holes for laces. Unrestricted warfare, American style. So I just find it super interesting. They're discussing political strategy of, okay, we need a big bad. Who is big bad going to be? China's the perfect pinata. And think about it. Around this time, who became the name you heard in the news as the biggest threat and the adversary to the United States of America?
Yeah, it's China.
China.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's keep going through this. Arab League meeting in Tunis on weekend. Okay, why is he meeting with more government officials from other countries? He just met with the entire French government. All right, we'll keep rolling here. But you guys are kind of starting to see just some of the weird influence in conversations that Jeffrey Epstein's having and the people that he's talking to months before he died. So this is back in time a little bit. This is 2018. So it's about a year before everything else that I was showing you. Nadler really gearing up. Amazing how much he hates Donald Trump. I'm told that 20 years ago, Donald called him a little fat Jew. He never forgot. It will be pinata time. Trump's problem is that he seems to trigger tough Jews who are now killers with leverage. You can explain to your boys that the linchpin in the Middle East is Qatar. So this is what I want to get to. You can explain to your boys that the linchpin in the Middle East is Qatar. Blockade lifted. They can help on many fronts. Many. I'm heading to AD tomorrow. I think I'm getting Bolton on board. At least he's an adult. He's referring to John Bolton, President Trump's national security advisor. And he is saying there's currently in 2018 a blockade on Qatar, okay? And this is December of 2018. And he's saying the linchpin in the Middle East is Qatar. With the blockade lifted, they can help on many fronts, many. Then he says he's talking to people within Trump's government, within the White House, about getting on board with his position on Qatar. Bolton only does what Adelson tells him to do. I got John the job, but he will not cross Sheldon. I'm aware. Key is MBZ. Get him. Get an actionable deal. Everyone reaching out for economic ideas. I guess my press is not translated into Russian, French, or Arabic. So yeah, okay. And I don't know what they're talking about. But what I do want to say is go ahead and Google search it. These texts are in early December 2018. Like a week or 2 weeks later, the United States changes their stance on Qatar and reaches a handout to Qatar and does exactly what Jeffrey Epstein is telling Steve Bannon the United States needs to do in these text messages. So this is a real world example of Jeffrey Epstein having influence over where U.S. tax dollars are going and being spent and what decisions are being made on the world stage.
Yeah. What I kind of think is Epstein is to us what Katie's burner account is to Twitter. Epstein's the burner, and they're just facilitating everything through him to cover themselves, you know? Because like what like I you we all know who there's rich people in the world, and there's guys who I'm sure you've probably walked past guys who have more money than Jeffrey Epstein, but they're not doing this stuff. There's probably someone in Goodrich who's smarter than Jeffrey Epstein. What makes this guy the guy that's involved with all this stuff? He's just the face of it. Really, I think that's what's happening is he's the face, and there's got to be he has to answer to somebody. He's not the one making all this happen.
Yeah, I
He's
think
the
you just hit the nail on the head, right?
he's the
There's
scapegoat.
there's clearly there's something bigger going on here, and
Yeah.
this is kind of what ties everything together for me, right? Like when Trump runs on we're going to have full transparency, we're going to release the Epstein files, we'll prosecute, you got Cash Patel going in and running the FBI and Dan Bongino, and then when they 180 as fast as they did, when they have completely flipped and changed the narrative on what's going on here, that tells you there's some type of higher force applying pressure and there's something
Right.
bigger going on here. And yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's hard for people to comprehend what's really going on and what really reality is. And I think that's why
Yeah.
you hear about the Illuminati and the one world order, new world order. And
Yeah.
this is kind of a simple explanation for what's really going on. But Cam's in here. He said, you got it correct, but backwards. Cam, hop on. Talk to us. Give us your, I sent Cam the link. If Cam wants to hop on,
Yeah.
he can. So
Love to
Cam,
get
if
him
you're
on here.
listening, the link is in your email and I'll actually resend it right now. But,
While we're waiting on Cam, did you see I think it was the NATO meeting that just happened last few days?
I did not.
That um
There's something new.
basically US went up, Britain spoke, a whole bunch of big powers spoke, and basically they are dismantling NATO. USA is calling for a new superior Western civilization power, all this stuff. And I think it really, I think it ties into this. They have lost their leaders. Their leader, Prince Edwards has been called out. Uh,
Yeah,
Trump's in
Prince
the
Andrew.
emails, Biden's in the emails, Clinton's in the emails. Arabic prince. All these people are in the emails, and now all of a sudden, this NATO. I think it was NATO. The NATO conference. They are like basically abandoning and dismantling the world order, and they're calling for a new world order. And
I did
maybe
not see
this
this.
is yeah. It was really interesting. Marco Rubio went up and he called for it. He goes, we need a new Western superior civilization power, something like that. Of Kinda. I think we're on the verge of dividing into basically two or three world powers in the coming future. That's what I got from it. Of I
Interesting.
think it's going to be like USA, Japan. That's why I think Greenland's going to be so important in the near future. It's going to be kind of like the current allies that countries have are going to solidify into one world power each. So, you know, I don't know so much into Dan Sharp will probably be a good person to call on. He probably knows a lot about who we're allies with and who's allies with who. And I think it's kind of going to divide into a couple world powers, and that's kind of what we're headed to.
Interesting.
Because they all
Okay, so
said the
I got to
same
look into
things.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to look
Yeah.
into this when we get off. I did not see that. So,
I think it was made up. I
but
might be
yeah,
wrong, but
it
it
could
definitely just
be.
happened.
Yeah, it could absolutely be tied to this stuff. So, um, all right, and I don't know if Cam's going to join. Cam, if you're listening, hop on. I sent you the link. We would love to get your take. I know the listeners would too. But all right, we're gonna really quickly have a couple more email threads that we're gonna look at, our text threads. But this is still Steve Bannon. Okay, so I have a lot of Steve Bannon on here. But Jeffrey Epstein says, I'm in New York tonight through Saturday. If you want to visit under the cover of darkness or breakfast tomorrow, if you like. Do you have access that's not the front door? They have 24/7 surveillance on you. So Steve Bannon is feeding Jeffrey Epstein information that he's being surveillanced. And basically they
Right.
talk about uh, any idea of who's surveilling me? Don't know, but real folks costing a lot of money is what he's saying. NFL, don't know what that means. He says exactly. I'm not sure
Dang
what
it.
that means. Can meet at this location. I'll send the apartment number. They talk, they end up meeting. So I just thought very interesting. Steve Bannon is sharing information about Epstein being surveilled. Don't know by who. And then here's probably the last thing that I'll show right now is this conversation. You up? Yes. Oh, can you call back, please? I thought get Secret Service involved, send mail requests under threat of perjury to top 50 people using lying to the FBI threat, then lay out next step, look decisive instead of ranting, unless their strategy is to replace and run with new message. Doesn't that show paranoia? Um, okay, let's keep scrolling down here. Bolsonaro just got stabbed in Brazil. Better him than me or you. You should be here. Um,
Dude,
okay.
if I only could.
This is what I want to call out. Okay. Going into a skiff talk tomorrow. Why? That's another question that I have. This goes back to
Wait,
what we're talking about.
what's skiff?
So skiff is, I wish freaking Cam was on here so he could talk about this, but skiff is a you know what? Let me get the acronym right because Cam's going to get mad at me. A SCIF is a sensitive compartmented information facility. So if you're talking about classified material, highly classified, sensitive topics, you have to be in a SCIF, which is a secure, kind of controlled setting where you can speak freely, essentially.
Right.
Why is Jeffrey Epstein in a skiff
And
in
yeah.
2018? It doesn't make any sense. And it does make sense. He had told multiple people that he was involved with the intelligence agencies. He very clearly was. I think it goes beyond just Mossad. I think he was involved with the CIA. I think he was involved with other foreign intelligence agencies. But 2018, he's being investigated. He's been convicted as a sex trafficker, and he is in a skiff. For what reason?
I don't know, but I just had a realization that if knowing what we know about all the entanglements with Epstein and the governments and all this stuff, I'm surprised that when he was being investigated and arrested and all that stuff, that they didn't stop it. Because they obviously have the power. I don't know. I just thought about that.
They did. That's the thing. He
Well, yeah,
his
but they didn't
first
stop
and
it enough for this stuff to come out.
well, I think again, here's a theory, but this is just a theory of mine. But I think it got too out of hand. Too many people found out. There were too many loose ends.
Yeah,
There
a lot of
were
people.
the public had turned. The public knew what was going on.
Yeah.
We live in
Now
a
it's
day and
Jones.
age now of technology and information being available to people 24/7, 365. And I think there were too many loose ends. And I think it got to the point Jeffrey Epstein was a loose end. And to keep doing what we're doing, we need a fall guy. Jeffrey Epstein is that
Yeah.
fall guy. Arrest him,
Yeah.
and he will kill himself in prison. I,
Yeah.
Cash Patel, Dan Bongino sat on news stories and said with 100% certainty, we know Epstein killed himself. And then, I don't know, you looked at the Epstein files. Do you think Epstein
I
killed
mean,
himself?
it looks like he's. Did you see the pictures of him in Tel Aviv?
I did see
I
some
don't know about
pictures.
that. I just saw some pictures that
I did
a
see
guy
some pictures
wearing.
of an
Yeah,
individual.
there. Who knows though? AI is so good; it could have been whatever.
But what I'm saying though is that it is this is what I mean is that it's very clearly a higher force, a
Yeah.
very powerful entity here because Jeffrey Epstein is gone, and the people who swore they would hold individuals accountable that were involved are now running scared with their tail tucked between their
Yeah.
legs and don't want to touch it. And there's something, so there's some very powerful people that still
Yeah.
exist.
Who's the top dog though? That's what I'm trying to get to.
I think
Is
it's somebody you've never heard of. I think it's somebody you've never
probably,
heard of,
but
somebody that
we've
we don't
had
know.
like the royals, the presidents, like leaders, dictators, all this stuff are basically seem to be just minimized. They're just so there's like if you think that the president of the United States is the most powerful person in the world, it's obviously it seems not to be that way because they had Bush and
Correct.
Clinton. They had all these guys in the palm of their hand. So who is it and what is the game here? That's what's wild. That's like
See, this is where it
there's
gets deep.
somebody.
It's where it gets deep, and we're wrapping up here soon, so we won't get too deep. But
Yeah.
yeah, it begs the question, right? Like, is reality as we think of it actually
Yeah.
reality as we think
I've
of it?
been
It's a little
saying,
scary to think about.
yeah. I've been telling my buddies since our last podcast, I was like, it's become evident to me because I've been doing so much research that our whole lives are basically a game. Like we're just kind of trying to get through where there's like, I could run for president. It's not going to matter. You could like nothing that we do will kind of ever matter. It doesn't matter who you are. Like there is just a
Yeah,
higher power that at this point in time we're living in a whole different world than them, and we're just basically pets. We're just single-celled organisms roaming around that don't matter, and it's
it's
wild.
yeah, it's sad. Real
Yeah.
quick, we got Emma Anderman in the chat wanting to know if there's been any claimed sightings of Epstein since his death. Claimed sightings, yes, a ton.
Tel
But
Aviv. Yeah.
yeah, look
Look
at the
at
pictures
him
from
in
Tel
Tel
Aviv a
Aviv.
couple days
That's
ago.
there's pictures, but
But there have
yeah,
been hundreds of claimed sightings of Epstein
yeah.
since his death. 100%. So
I see him at
here's the
Planet
thing though.
Fitness every day on Miller Road.
Yeah, he's working out. He's on the treadmill in Genesee Valley Mall. Um, I think
Yeah.
I might be in a minority here. I do think Epstein's dead, but I just don't think he killed himself.
Really?
That's always been what I thought, is that I do think he's dead. I just
Oh,
don't think he killed himself. I think he was a loose end. They sent somebody in there. I think he probably thought they'll get me out of here. There's no
that
way
he
I
was
do any
getting out?
prison time.
Yeah.
And I think somebody
Yeah.
came into his cell and killed him. That's my theory. Doesn't mean that's what happened, but that's just what I think happened.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't mind, I have three little tidbits that I would like to just discuss to kind of more of rabbit holes that we can maybe investigate later. I
Okay.
really have, I have one, and I have two things that I thought were interesting. So what I did, because for the viewers who don't know, I lived in North Palm Beach, about 20 minutes away from Palm Beach, where Mar-a-Lago is. Epstein spent a lot of time in Palm Beach, stuff like that. Um, this statement that I'm not statement, I'm saying there's a country club in Palm Beach called Palm Beach Country Club. Not saying anything. It is a Jewish country club. Known fact, it's Jewish. Robert Kraft is a member. Probably, no joke, the most powerful Jewish people in the world are members here. So I just looked up Palm Beach Country Club, and I was just curious. I'm like, what comes up? Epstein was at Palm Beach Country Club. He had several lunches there. And I had the time stamped on a different paper, but I lost it. But if you look up Palm Beach Country Club, he was a part of a meeting for personalized cancer immune therapy. And they go into basically how to become immune to cancer. And it's a meeting that he had. It was at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on a Wednesday at Palm Beach Country Club. And he invites someone else and asks them if they're coming. And I just thought that was really interesting. I don't want to get into Jewish accusations at all. But I just thought it was an interesting little thing I found.
Yeah,
So
no, that's we're not. There's no accusations there, but yeah,
no,
that is
I mean,
interesting. That is that's another example. We went into a lot more of the kind of Epstein with the physics and the science world
yeah, this is
last
kind
episode we
of
did. But it's
tailing off
interesting. It's a
that.
it is
It is
it's
interesting.
such an interesting piece of this is he was connected with some of the
Yeah,
smartest scientists and doctors and physicists in the world, and he was
yeah,
in meetings with top doctors in the world talking about how to become immune to cancer. Why?
right. Yeah. So, a little background of Palm Beach Country Club. I've been there several times. It is a very nice place. It's right on
Little
the.
flex right
It's
there.
a little flex. Um, But so really interesting. I know a couple people who work there. Palm Beach Country Club basically has it's just a little. It's 18 holes in a clubhouse in Palm Beach. Um, $1 million to join. It's $250,000 initiation with a mandatory $750,000 donation to a Jewish charity. So $1 million to join a country club. Nice, really nice place. Didn't blow my socks off. I've been to a lot of places as a golfer. But $1 million to join is quite a pay just to join, and then you pay the rest. Um, it has their own police force that guards the country club. So there's other. I know other stories that don't pertain to this, but basically they are almost their own self-governing community in
Yeah.
there. There's no houses; it's just the golf course and the clubhouse. Um, and
Interesting.
it's and it's just really interesting. I mean, it's the most powerful, some of the most powerful people in the world are members there. That Jeffrey Epstein's Jewish, makes sense that he'd be there just because. But it's just funny that it was a part of a meeting for personalized cancer immunotherapy, and I could not find anything more about it. That was it. It was just an invitation, and that's what it was worded as. And I just think that's Palm Beach Country Club knows something. Dang it!
Yeah.
I was wearing my Palm Beach. I should have worn my hat. I was just wearing it earlier today.
Yeah,
Um,
that is probably the wildest part of that story is actually the $1 million to join a country club up
yeah,
front.
and I've been to like really nice country clubs, and their investments like for business reasons. But $1 million is well above. I mean, NJ's course to join, which is like one of the ones to join, is 500,000,
Yeah.
and this place is 1 million.
That's
And
wild. Yeah.
it's wild, and it's not it's a cool place. It's You wouldn't know if I put you out there, you wouldn't think
It's a
anything
million bucks to
different.
join this place.
Yeah. So That's just that. That could be something maybe that we could dive into later, but I don't think there's anything there. Um, the one thing I just found this little tidbit email that really has no information to it, but it's to Jeffrey Epstein. And it just says, Phantom, where are you hiding? Do you want to meet my kids? And the kids thing is whatever. I don't want to get into that. I'm really, really curious of why they call him Phantom. I could not find another email of them referring to him as Phantom and asking, where are you hiding? And it kind of sounds like that this person who sent this email is above Jeffrey.
Do you know the date on that by chance?
Just look up Phantom, where are you hiding? And it'll come up.
Okay.
But it's really
But
interesting of
yeah,
that they
that's
gave him the
very odd.
nickname. I've never seen Jeffrey get a nickname and they call him Phantom. Where are you hiding? And this was I went down a huge rabbit hole of there's going to be a lot of Phantom of the Opera references. I was like, why is he going to the Phantom of the Opera so many times? I counted that he went like 45 times to the Phantom of the Opera. It turns out he's just buying tickets for people to go to the Phantom of the Opera, so that was nothing. I really thought I was onto something. But yeah, I'm just wondering why at this instant he was given the nickname Phantom and they're asking where are you hiding? So obviously
Yeah,
they're trying.
I'm looking at this right now, and I'll share it so anyone that's watching can see. But very very weird. I think
Yeah.
this is it. Let's make yeah.
And I think
Having dinner at the Palm Beach Country Club and your name came
yep.
up. Philip Alganian says hello.
Yep.
Uh, regards. Sorry for all the typos. Small world. Phantom, where are you hiding? Don't you want to meet my kids? Especially Jeff, your
Your
namesake.
namesake. Yep. So the Palm Beach route led me down this. And it just something about the nickname Phantom really did something in my mind of why all of a sudden have you ever seen him been referred to as any nickname?
Yeah, no.
And then they call him Phantom. So I think I was hoping that this would open up to something else, maybe down the line when more information gets released. But I just thought that was really weird. Phantom, where are you hiding?
Yeah, it is weird.
And that's
It's
just
super
where it
weird.
ends. I went through probably 300 emails with the word Phantom in it. He never gets called Phantom again. But yeah, that was just one that just was like, I was probably just grasping at loose straws, but
Yeah,
what's
nonetheless,
Phantom?
it's interesting. So what's funny, I thought we were gonna kind of wrap this up in two sessions, but we might need to do a third. And we've got other conspiracies that we're gonna get into throughout the months here as well. But there's just so much here that we might do a three-peat. This
Yeah.
might be a trilogy, and we might do another one of these in a couple weeks. Real quick, I just want to make sure. Do you have anything else that you absolutely need to share?
No, but I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick before we wrap it up.
All right. So while Blaze is doing that before we sign off, but I'll just talk a little bit, just kind of wrap this up. So I think there's enough here to be a part three. If you guys want a part three, let us know. We'll do it. I'm happy to do it. Dive in and see what we can find. But yeah, basically, like tonight, I just wanted to cover. Everyone's focused on the weird, the creepy things. There's so much of that in the files. I wanted to kind of focus more on the influence in the power that Jeffrey Epstein seems to have within not just the United States government, but foreign governments as well. It doesn't make a ton of sense. I think it's pretty clear he was tied to intelligence. I think it's pretty clear that he was a part of a power structure that goes very deep. And those people still exist. I think these things are continuing to happen. Um, and our government's not doing anything about it. That has become pretty evident. So that was what I wanted to focus on. Blaze, you came with some very interesting things and good
Yeah,
work on the deep dive,
you,
finding a lot of that stuff.
I found it nothing burgers really,
No, you
but
found some interesting tidbits.
the murder
Uh,
thing was interesting, and the Phantom thing to me is interesting, and Palm Beach Country Club. Those were three that I just hope we're going to open up to more. And I think that when we go into episode 3, I think maybe ask the viewers, maybe there's something that me and you can both tag team and we'll just work together and dive into something and kind of break it together instead of brushing over some ideas. I think we should stay away from the children aspect of things and maybe into doing some Dr. Seuss, or not Dr. Seuss, Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah.
trying to
I
crack some codes, you know.
Yeah, no, I really like that actually. Why don't, if you guys are watching this, please comment if you guys have like a topic or something you saw that you want us to dive into. We will
Yeah.
do that. We'll make this a trilogy. We'll do an episode 3, whether it be
Yeah.
next week. Maybe we probably only need a week to do all the research. But if you guys
Yeah.
have something you want us to look into, comment and let us know. We will do that. And yes, I like that. I think everyone in the world is focused on the creepy aspects of it, kind of the
Yeah.
darker aspects that I want to stay away from on here. So I like the idea of diving into some of the areas that not so many people are talking
Yeah.
about.
I mean, there's a gazillion rabbit holes that you can dive into. Like the time travel thing, the
Oh
cancer
yeah.
immunotherapy. There's a lot of really I would say more classified things that we can dive into rather than pedophilia route. Which
For
that's not
sure.
us. That's not us. That's for
Now,
the big. That's for
Cam is saying 9/11. Cam, I don't know if you were here at the beginning. There were maybe a couple references. I'm going to throw a little fun tidbit in before we hop off here as Cam brings up 9/11. There's an email to Ghislaine Maxwell shortly after September 11th, 2001, of somebody asking her if she would be interested in being on the shadow 9/11 commission that this person is putting together. I have no idea what that means.
and why would she be a part of it?
Ghislaine Maxwell
Well,
declined it. And I do know what it means, but don't know at the same time. But what he meant is there was a 9/11 commission that was put together, our government put together to investigate what happened on 9/11. This person was putting together a shadow commission that was going to do their own work and figure out what was really going on. And that email was sent to Ghislaine Maxwell shortly
yeah,
after September 11th, 2001, which is very interesting. So maybe we go down that rabbit hole a little bit, see what the heck that was all about. If you guys have anything else that you want us to look into, please let us know. We also, boys, we have so many different conspiracies that we can dive into throughout the spring and into the summer. So this is, we're going to
yeah,
keep doing this. And with that though, good work. About an hour 22 in,
yeah,
we talked about a lot of things. So thank you guys if you listened, and please comment. Let us know what you want us to look into, and we'll have a little bit. This was kind of an on the fly episode. We'll have a little bit of a more put together and structured episode 3 to finish this thing off with the
yeah,
trilogy.
yeah. But we should focus on one thing. Maybe me and you two could do our own little deep dives, and then maybe in a couple days we'll zero in on one thing, and then we'll really hammer that, and then kind of break it together. And really get good notes, because I was just trying to find, I was just kind of grasping at straws, trying to find something groundbreaking. But you did a good job. You had some fun stuff to say. So
No, so did you. I appreciate you doing the research. Appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate everybody that listened. And yeah, like we said, we will do episode 3. And then if you listen for sports and not conspiracy theory stuff, huge episode. Who do we have?
there he is.
Whoa, hold on a second.
At the
Everybody.
buzzer.
We did it, Joe.
All right, we were just about to end the stream, but we now have Dr. Hattori himself.
final.
He is on with us right now. The floor is yours.
I just wanted to say hi. I thought you guys were about to end the stream, so I was just joining to talk to you guys off the stream.
We'll say hi, say bye to the listeners.
We'll end
it.
Well, I want to talk to you about this off
in
air.
a skiff.
Let's talk about this off air.
In a skiff.
All
right, listeners, we are headed to a skiff. We will report back what we find. And but the last thing that I want to say, what I was about to say, if you watch BBL for the sports talk, huge episode. We're recording it tomorrow. BBL first edition NFL mock draft, and it will be accurate. Probably the most accurate mock draft you can find on the street. So that'll be dropping tomorrow night. Thank you all for listening. We will be back with part 3. We're doing the trilogy. Good evening.